It took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do. Therefore, it took me a long time. My college journey was not a short one.
Okay.
Yeah, it was not a short one. It was actually
important message to note, though, because I mean, I'm still figuring out what I want to do when I grow up. And I think there's a lot of people that kind of feel like that. And, you know, like you're in high school and you have to have it all figured out, or college even. And that's not the case.
So I started creating more and more art. And at the time, I started getting back into my unconventional ways of making art. And I always loved creating art in unconventional ways that just kind of made the piece a little bit more noteworthy, made the piece stand out, gave the piece a story or an impact, if you will. And so I started dabbling in all these unconventional methods, which is what ultimately led me to creating with lipstick. I was a chapstick kind of girl, and I just felt like when I would wear lipstick, I felt like it made my face stand out too much or something. Yeah. But I also broke it down to, I think this is just a confidence thing. Like, you know, so with like self-confidence came the confidence to be bold and wear lipstick and not be afraid of who cares if my face stands out? Like, why do I care? You know, Josh, my husband, he said to me, he's like, Lex, I feel like this is like your golden nugget. I think you need to really harness this because nobody else is doing this. And because you put your actual kisses in the piece, there's such a wow factor there. And there's a story there. And like, what's the symbolism behind the kiss print? And then that really got me thinking like, well, it's not just about creating a portrait of somebody and, you know, out of an unconventional medium. It's how can I tie a story to it? And so that's when I started to reel in the idea of, you know, beauty and love and self-love and like, what does the kiss print symbolize? What does that mean to people? And so it was an evolution of, you know, what does lipstick mean and what does the kiss print mean and how can I tie that into the subjects that I choose to paint? So it's been quite an evolving process to say the least. I think galleries can smell a sense of like unprofessionalism, you know, just based on your delivery and based on your content that you have to show them. So at the time, you know, I was creating this lipstick art, but my subject matter was still kind of a little bit all over the place because I was trying to fulfill art for other people. I wasn't making art for myself. So I had this lipstick body of work, but I had stuff from portraits to plants to animals, to sceneries. So there wasn't that cohesiveness that I think a lot of galleries like to see. And so it was a bit of a struggle in the beginning, but these are all things that I figured out over the course of time. It was just constant perseverance and getting used to being told no and being okay with being told no. What I've learned is out of like 100 pitches, you might only gain like 5, you know, maybe less. You're going to be told no more than you're going to be told yes, even if what you're doing is amazing. Even now, I feel like I've developed a really good name for myself and I have a really nice looking body of work and I have a really good portfolio, but that doesn't mean that it's going to land me the next job that I try to pitch, right? So it's just a matter of constantly putting yourself out there, being used to being rejected. Don't stop because you got rejected. Just learn from that rejection. Why did they say no? How can I change my pitch for next time to make it better? What can I do to make myself and my work seem more professional? And then just put that towards your next pitch. There have been plenty of times that I want to throw in the towel, especially when times get scary as far as when's my next sale and how am I going to pay this bill, things like that. But for whatever reason, I've been able, I don't know if it's just my utmost belief, but I always seem to have had just enough to take me to the next month and to the next month and to keep it going and to propel it forward. But I don't think that that's going to happen if you doubt yourself entirely. You have to have the belief, not to sound like super wooey or whatever, but
no, it's an important message about resilience and entrepreneurship is hard. And
but if you can see it and you can see your success story and you believe it in your hardest of hearts, then somehow it's just going to pan out. It's just going to work. You just have to trust the process. But to be an artist, I think there almost has to be an element of you don't want to appeal to everybody.
Yeah, right.
Because then like what makes you so, there almost has to be some kind of controversy or something to drum up emotions with people. And I feel like those are the ones that you see are the most successul.
Yeah, I always say you haven't made it until you have haters. And usually when I start to get negative comments, then I'm like, I've made it.
That's it. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right.